Do you want to save some money while you're exploring the world by bike? Then this is the video for you. Hi, my name is Maudi and together with my boyfriend Eric we've been traveling around the world on our bicycles since 2018. On our channel we mainly share videos about our adventures and we also like to give some tips and tricks along the way. In this video I will share budgeting tips for a bike tour, a short and sweet video that will hopefully help you to save some money here and there. Alright, let's dive into it. First up, cook yourself. One of the joys of traveling in other countries is to experience the local cuisine. We definitely make sure to not miss out on all the cultural experiences of trying traditional recipes. In our opinion, it's such an integral and social part of life and a lot of fun to taste all the different flavors. Eating out all the time can really cut into the budget, which is no problem of course if that's exactly what you're there for, but when you're on the road for months on end, you can save a lot of money by cooking yourself. With limited cooking equipment, it's sometimes hard to be creative. So to keep it interesting, we try to switch it up a little. We often add some toppings like fresh arugula, herbs, seed or nut butters or avocado for example. We also have a big supply of dried herbs and spices which can really bring recipes to life and give different flavors to each meal. We try to make sure that we always have enough food for the day so we're less tempted to stop at the first place we see and buy a meal. So to set yourself up for success, make sure you have your favorite snacks at hand so you don't get hungry. And try to make your meals varied and delicious. The next step is warm showers and couch surfing. You might already be familiar with these hosting websites, but for those of you who don't, Couchsurfing is a platform where people around the world offer a place to stay. A fantastic way to cut on costs, meet new people and rest up a little after a long traveling day. Warm showers is the equivalent, but especially for cyclists. Often the hosts have traveled by bike themselves or are interested in doing so in the future. The great thing about that is that you instantly have a common interest to talk about. Share some stories from the road, enjoy a meal together, and one of the best things, after a few days on a bike, enjoy a warm shower. We have made use of it a couple of times and we really enjoyed being invited in someone's home and get a little insight into their lives. We don't use it very often because we don't always feel like socializing when we're tired from cycling, and also because of our video editing work. We rather stay in Airbnbs or hotels as it feels quite unpolite to distance ourselves when we're invited into someone's home. Though when you love meeting new people and enjoy a warm bed for a night or two, this is a really great way to cut a bit on costs. Next up is shop at outdoor markets or at cheap supermarkets. Depending on the country you are traveling in, there's often a big difference in costs, depending on where you buy your groceries. In many parts of the world, you can get fruits, vegetables and other supplies much cheaper at local markets. And another advantage of that is that you directly support the local community. We also enjoy the experience more because you mingle in between the locals and you can look for all kinds of local specialties. In some countries you do need some haggling skills if you don't want to pay twice the price. I'm lucky to have Eric who enjoys that a lot more than I do, but if you have some fun with it, it is a nice way to connect with the locals too. In relatively wealthy countries we make sure we get our groceries at affordable supermarkets like Lidl, Aldi, and in Iceland where we recently traveled at the Bonus supermarket. When shopping, we also keep an eye out for discount products and make sure to compare the prices of the different brands. We often bookmark these specific retail chains and try to visit them at least once a week to stock up with our favorite products. There's a significant price difference compared to some of the more fancy supermarkets like Spar, Morrison's or Carrefour for example. A great way to minimize the cost is to travel locally or travel in more budget-friendly countries. First of all, taking flights, buses and trains can really add up in expenses, but if you travel in your local area, you don't need public transportation to get you there. Another bonus is that you don't need a visa to travel. When you plan a tour in other countries, you might want to look for places where with your nationality you're not required to buy a visa to enter the country. Some parts of the world are more expensive to travel than others. It also depends on your preferences and travel style. If you don't want to go stealth camping, the cost can really add up quickly. In Southeast Asia, we were able to afford a basic hotel room every night and regularly indulged ourselves in the local specialties. Though in Western Europe, accommodation costs around 50 euros on average per night for a basic room, so we stealth camped most of the time. and we maybe went to a restaurant once in a few months or so. So it might seem like Southeast Asia is an overall better choice budget-wise, but on the other hand you'll have the added cost of flights and visas. So ask yourself, what do you want from a bike tour, and have a look at what is ultimately the best choice for you. Next up is taking your own charging devices. Charging electronics can be a reason to go to a camping, a hotel or other type of accommodation. So finding ways to charge your devices on the road can help limiting the amount of times you need to do that. Dynamos add a little bit of weight to your bike, but are a good way to charge at least the basics like your bike computer, phone or GPS device, for example. When you cycle in sunny conditions, a portable solar panel is also another way to collect electricity. This equipment can be an investment up front, but might pay off in the long run if you plan to go away for a long time. It also enables you to stay more days out on the road. Power banks need charging themselves, but having a few of them help you to make the most use of electricity when it's available. If you go to a restaurant or cafe from time to time, it's an excellent opportunity to charge some of your devices. Often when you ask the staff, they will point you to an electricity point. Obviously, it doesn't charge your power banks completely, but every little bit adds up and it might give you another 1 or 2 days out on the road before you need to pay for accommodation. The next up is hygiene. Feeling clean can really add to your overall comfort while traveling. Depending on the season, we love to wash ourselves in natural sources like in a river or under a waterfall, for example. When that's not available, we would also just simply collect some water in a plastic bottle and pour it over our bodies. We make sure to wash the most important regions of the body like hands, hair, armpits and the crotch area. We also look out for amenities like public toilets or other facilities to have a quick wash. And when we feel clean, we less feel the need to go to a hotel or a camping. When you do feel like having a real shower, a camping is always a more affordable option than a hotel. When you're there, make sure to make the most of it by using the facilities. Charge your electronics, use the internet, wash your clothes and take a shower. Another idea is to go to a gym or swimming pool for a good workout and have a shower afterwards. The next stop is water. Bike touring can be really involved and the most trivial things like managing your water supply can be quite time consuming. That's why it's easy to fall into the trap of buying bottled water in a supermarket, which is the quickest and easiest way. But if there's one thing that people want to help you out with, it is filling up your water bottles. And a bonus is that you often meet very kind people too. 20 cents for a liter of water in the supermarket may not seem like a lot, but when you consume 3 liters a day per person, that makes for 36 euros a month. Another option is to buy a water filter. That's an investment up front, but it will pay off in the long run. The next step is skipping or dumpster diving. If you're not familiar with this concept, according to the internet, it means the practice of searching through dumpsters or other large containers holding waste in order to find food that can still be eaten or objects that can still be used. In most countries it's an illegal activity, but frankly I think it also should be illegal to throw away perfectly edible products. We have never tried it and I'm not sure if I ever will, but it might be a good way to save a bit on groceries. If you don't need a lot of internet, you perhaps don't need to buy data every month. You could search for places where there's free Wi-Fi available, like supermarkets, gas stations, and of course in cafes. While you're drinking your coffee, fill up your water bottles, charge your electronics and download offline maps for the next stretch. Next up is accept from strangers. When on a bicycle tour, we often experience warmth and kindness, sometimes by means of a smile or conversation, and other times in the form of a gift. This can be food, a place to stay, or a warm shower, for example. A very Western mindset is that immediately you feel the need to counteract and give something in return. But we sometimes feel it undermines people's generosity and effort to give something without any expectations. I don't mean to say that you should be freeloading or abuse people's hospitality. We never take gifts in any form for granted, but don't be afraid to accept an act of kindness because it will also make people feel good. There are 2 websites that I want to recommend. The first is One Night Tent. This is a platform similar like couchsurfing. The only difference is that people offer a place outside in their garden or on a private plot of land, for instance. In many countries, stealth camping is illegal, so this is a great way to experience camping without any problems. Welcome to My Garden works in a similar way, but it's specifically targeted at slow travelers. So these are two awesome websites that are free to use, and if you like their service, it's possible to give a donation. These websites are mainly used in Europe, so if anyone knows similar websites for other parts of the world, please leave them in the comments down below. When using the websites, I recommend to first read the rules and the listing so you know what to expect. The next up is volunteering or a cultural exchange. Another way to save a bit of money but simultaneously have an awesome learning experience is by using hosting websites like Workaway, Woof or House Sitting. They are all a bit different, so I will discuss them briefly. Workaway is a platform where people can list their projects and look for volunteers to contribute for a short or long duration. As a workawayer, you commit to a certain amount of time per day to help out with the chores. This can range from working in a hostel to help out as an au pair, gardening and feeding animals, or helping out in a surf school, for example. The possibilities are endless. In exchange, you receive lodging and food, a cool way to learn some new skills and take some rest from cycling. WOOF stands for Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms. It's a similar platform but solely focused on organic farming. And lastly, house sitting. This is more so a concept rather than a particular platform, as there are many places where you can apply for a house sit. It basically means to live in and look after a house while its owner is away in exchange for any combination of responsibilities. Often this includes looking after the garden, watering the plants, cleaning the house and looking after the pets. We've never used it and have read mixed experiences from both the house sitter side but also from the owners. So before you agree to look after someone's home, make sure you both have mutual expectations and feel good about the agreement you've made. The next up is bothies or mountain shelters. If you're already pretty self-supported in many ways and you're only looking for a simple place to sleep inside once in a while, you can have a look at mountain shelters. These are often simple stone or wooden huts or structures where you're allowed to sleep in for a night or two. Not all, because some are paid. The huts are mostly well maintained, often by volunteers and with donations from other outdoor enthusiasts, so obviously you're expected to be respectful and leave the place clean and organized for the next user. Next up is gear. Don't freak out about having the best and latest gear. Each day, a ton of new exciting products are released and it's tempting to have the latest and greatest. Every item seems to be just a little bit better than what you already own, and it's easy to fall into the trap of constantly upgrading. But you really don't need to spend so much money to go on a bike tour. Perhaps you already own a suitable bike for touring, or you can borrow equipment from friends and family. Another idea is to buy second-hand products instead of new. If you do want to invest, try to first focus on the most important things like a sturdy bicycle, comfortable contact points like your saddle, handlebar and pedals, quality components, good tires, bike tools, rain gear and your sleeping equipment. Alright, these were the tips that I could come up with. Once again, have a flexible mindset and try to see the opportunities as they arise, but at the same time be respectful and considerate with everything you do. If you have any other tips that you want to share, please leave them in the comments down below. I hope it was useful and fun to watch. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!